I'm not here today to make a normal conference speech. I'm here to make one of the biggest announcements in the history of the NHS, and I'm really excited about it. But first, I wanted to say something about this government and why we should support it. Because we meet at a turbulent political moment. And I believe that we have a deep and solemn responsibility to steer our beloved country through these troubled times. And I feel that responsibility now more than I've ever felt in my lifetime. Because ultimately, at the next general election, whenever it comes, the choice will be between this Conservative government and a government led by Jeremy Corbyn. There is no one else. And the Corbynistas, they're not the usual soft left who we've disagreed with in the past, but who essentially believe in what is good about Britain. No, they peddle a dangerous ideology. They're hell-bent on destroying everything that's made this country great. These Corbynistas, they abhor everything we believe in: security, freedom, even private property. They'd undermine every business, they'd undermine our economy, and so the source of the vital public services and the funding for them that underpin our society. We all have a duty, and I feel this duty deeply and personally. Jeremy Corbyn in Downing Street, we must never let it happen. And while I'm on the Labour Party, I wanted to mention my admiration for my friend, the Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, Tom Watson, for what he has to put up with, and also for how fantastic he looks and how much weight he's lost. In fact, I hear that Labour's ruling NEC committee, they're so supportive of his weight loss, they want him to disappear altogether. We must back this government too because we believe in democracy, right? We must deliver on the referendum result. I profoundly believe that's best done with a deal. And we're going all out to get one and to get it through Parliament. But it's right too that we prepare in the event that we leave without a deal. This country is crying out to move forward. We must deliver Brexit, and this government will get Brexit done. But for me, the most important reason to back the Conservative Party is because of all the positive things that we can achieve together. We mustn't ever just be the party of Brexit. Deliver Brexit, not defined by Brexit. We're the party of opportunity and freedom and public services too. And of course, the biggest and most loved public service is the NHS. Now, some of you might have heard, I love the NHS. I think the NHS embodies conservative values. Patriotism, because we look after each other in this country. Global leadership, because in many ways it's the finest health service in the world. Public service, because so many people give so much day in, day out to care for others. These values are conservative values, they are British values, and they're the values of the NHS. And the truth is, our connection to the NHS, it isn't just about policy. It's an emotional connection to the NHS. The NHS is there for all of us. And I'm sure everybody here is thinking of a moment when the NHS was there for them in the same way as it's been there for me. I'm so proud of what we've been able to deliver over the past year. Record investment in much-needed mental health services, the biggest increase in social care funding in a decade, record numbers of GPs in training, doctors in hospitals, nurses on wards. And I'm so proud of what is to come. No health secretary in history has had as much support in the first weeks of an administration than I've had from this Prime Minister. Not just the 20 hospital upgrades that he promised on the steps of Downing Street on his first day, which we've already given the go-ahead to. Not just the funding to bring the best technology and artificial intelligence in the world into the NHS. But today I can formally announce my health infrastructure plan the biggest hospital building program in a generation. If you're sitting in a down-at-hill hospital, like the Princess Alexandra in Harlow, or North Manchester General, where I was yesterday with the Prime Minister, and there's not enough space to do the job properly, and the roof is leaking, know this: we're not just going to fix the roof, we're going to build you a whole new hospital. Over the next decade, we will build not 10, not 20, but 40 new state-of-the-art hospitals. In Leeds and Leicester, in Whipscross and Winchester, and in 36 other towns and cities across the country. Some, like the new Addenbrooks, are going to be world-leading research institutions. Others will be community hospitals, like in Devon and Dorset, to serve their local communities with pride. And I just want to say this about community hospitals. Last year, I told this conference that the era of blindly closing community hospitals was over. This year, we're building new ones. So it's £2.7 billion up front for the 6 projects of the first phase that are ready to go, and the go-ahead to the next 34 in the second phase with the immediate funding they need to develop their plans now. All in all, a £13 billion plan over the next decade. And do you know what the Labour Party have said about our plans? They say that this plan is too long-term, that we shouldn't give this development funding to the hospitals that have got the go-ahead in the second phase. I've even had my opposite number opposing the new hospital in his own constituency in Leicester. This takes opposition to a whole new level. But this sort of short-sighted, point-scoring approach, without the long-term planning, that's exactly what has been wrong with hospital development in the past. Labour are wrong. The NHS wants a long-term plan, and we're going to give them the certainty that they need. This is on top of the £34 billion extra to run the NHS day to day. All in all, the largest, longest financial commitment to the NHS in its history. All there to ensure the NHS is always there for you and your family. We Conservatives are the party of the NHS, and on my watch, it's always going to be that way.